Hello, everybody, and welcome to my class. Today will be a continuation of last class. We'll be working with how to graph linear equations. So first, let me review the slope-intercept problems, and then we'll be doing some more advanced slope-intercept problems, and then we'll be learning about the point-slope form and standard form later on. Okay, so that is our schedule for today. Okay, so first I'm going to review how to find the slope-intercept form. Okay, some of this will be new, some of this will be review. Okay, so what I need you to remember is slope-intercept form, how it is written. So slope-intercept form is written in the form y equals mx plus b. Okay, so let's say this would be a common slope-intercept form equation. So y equals 3x plus 4, okay? And this is written in this form, okay? So what does x and y mean, okay? Well, y, we don't have to worry about now, okay? You have to worry about these two, okay? These two are very important when graphing. You don't necessarily have to look at the y when we are graphing. We need to look at the x and the 4, okay? So what is the 4? The 4 is the y-intercept. Okay, the 4 is the y-intercept. So b is the y-intercept in a slope-intercept form equation. Now what is x? X is the slope of the line you are going to graph. So you need to pay attention to the x and the b, or the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, and then you can graph the slope-intercept form linear equation. Okay, so today we'll be learning about how to get our slope-intercept form equation from a line already graphed, and then we'll be learning about how to get slope-intercept form from only 2 points. So only 2 points. No y-intercept, no slope. Just 2 points. How do we get our slope-intercept form equation from only 2 points? Okay? And then we'll be learning about the point-slope form and then the standard form. And once you've learned slope-intercept form, it kind of just builds up your understanding of linear equations. So does anybody have questions so far? Okay, yes, Jocelyn. M is the slope. Very good. So no questions, and I will continue. Okay. So let's see. Let me draw a coordinate graph right here real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So let's say there's a point right here and a point right here. And then we make our line, right? We make our line. Okay. And be sure to put arrows on the end of it because, as you know, lines go on forever. Okay. So let's see. This is our linear graph. Okay. This is our line. Okay, so how do we get our slope-intercept form equation from this? So remember, we have to write it in this form right here. Y equals mx plus b. So where is our y-intercept? Now, let me review. Y-intercept is where the line crosses the y-axis, right? The y-axis. So where does this line cross the y-axis? Can anybody tell me where it crosses the y-axis? Okay, where does it cross the y-axis? Okay, can anybody tell me? Where does it cross the y-axis? Okay, Jocelyn says 0, 4. Okay, very good. That is the y-intercept. 4, right? And technically it'd be 0, 4. But when we're writing the y-intercept, we can not use the 0 because it's always the same, right? It's always on the y-axis, so the x is always going to be 0. Okay. So now that we've found our y-intercept, we can start building our equation here. So y equals mx plus 4, right? So now what is the slope? Okay, we need to find the slope. So how do we do this? Let's see. Okay, so what is this point right here? We have 2 points. This point is 2, 2, right? This point is 2, 2. And then we got a 0, 4 over here. Remember how to find slope? It's the vertical change over the horizontal change. So it'd be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, okay? And let's say, okay, remember 2 points right here, 0, 4, and 2, 2. So let's say this is y2 and this is y1, okay? Let's plug that into our formula. Okay, and then let's say this is x2, this is x1. Okay, 0 minus 2. Okay, so there we have it. That's our slope. And what we get is this, right? -1. Okay, does everybody agree? Okay, so does everybody agree what the slope is? So yes or no? Jocelyn, you said y equals -2x. Okay, so remember, please don't make any silly mistakes. And be sure to double check your work, okay? And since our slope is -1, we can build our equation, right? So let me erase all of this. Okay. And then what is m? M is -1, and we just have to do -x. So that is how to find our slope-intercept form equation from a linear graph, okay? So I'm done reviewing that. So let's try a problem, okay? Okay. So express the line on the coordinate graph, this one, in slope-intercept form, okay? I just taught you this. Remember this? You have to find the y-intercept form, the y-intercept first, and then you have to find the slope, right? And then you can build your equation, okay? So please try to express this line in slope-intercept form and put your answers in the chat box, okay? So the chat box, okay? You can put all your answers there, and then I'll look through them. Okay, so Carney says -3 is the m, which means -3 is a slope. Okay, so very good, Carney. And then Jocelyn says 3/4 is the slope. So you might want to double check your work, Carney. Okay. So I'll give you a bit of time to try and figure this out. I'll go back to the slide. Okay. This is the question. So please try and do it. Okay. Try your best to try and solve this. And if you don't know, then I'll walk you through it later. Okay. Please put your answer in the chat. Okay. Oh, yes, Carney. -3 is the y-intercept. Okay, sometimes you may mix that up. Okay. So y equals 3 over 4 minus 3. Okay, Carney, you forgot to put the x in. Remember, it's y equals 3 over 4x minus 3. So let me walk you through how to get that. Okay, first, this is our form. Don't forget. And what is the y-intercept? It's -3, right? So -3 is the b. So we can start building our equation from there. Okay, so we generally have 2 points, right? 2 points. Right here we have the y-intercept. And then we have another point, which surprisingly is the x-intercept. And I'll talk more about the x-intercept later in standard form, okay? So the x-intercept is 0, 4. Not 0 minus 4, 0, 4. Okay. And then our 4, 0. Okay, 4, 0. And then our y-intercept then is 0, -3, right? 0, -3. Okay? So then we just subtract them. Okay? So let's say this is y2, y1. This is x2, x1. Okay? So 0 minus -3 equals 0 plus 3, right? 0 plus 3 over 4 minus 0, which equals 3 over 4, okay? And since we have 2 points over here, there's a more convenient way. Now all this slope, you need to subtract those 2 points, right? And that's easy to make mistakes, right? Addition, subtraction, mistakes. You can just go from 1 point. Let's see. Go up by 3, go right by 4, right? Then you just get 3 over 4. Because y is first, and then x is second. And there you have it. Or you can do go down by 3, go left by 4. -3 over -4, which equals 3 or 4. Okay. And even if you did make a mistake and you thought it was -3 over 4, you can correct your mistake, right? Remember last class? I said that these lines from left to right uphill, those have positive slopes. And this one is a positive slope. Now, if we had a line like this, that'd be a negative slope. So you can just quickly check your answer right there. So the correct answer for this problem would be y equals 3, 4, x minus 3. Okay? Next problem. Okay, number 2 is a line passes through the points 0, 1, and 2, 2. Express the line in slope-intercept form. Okay, so this one, I'm sure that most of you don't know how to find slope-intercept form from 2 lines. So this one I'm going to walk you through, okay? I'm going to walk you through how to find slope-intercept form from 2 points. So first, when we have 2 points, what can you get? The slope, right? You can get the slope very easily. Just do y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Okay, so let's see. This is y2. This is y1. x2, x1. Okay, then we just subtract 2 minus 1 over 2 minus 0. Okay, and then you get 1/2. So that is our slope. Okay, that is our slope. And then you can start building the equation, right? Y equals 1/2 x plus b, okay? But then remember, we still need a b, right? We still need the y-intercept. So how do you do this? Well, it's quite simple if you really think about it. You may think there's like a really complicated formula for it, but you just need to sub in some numbers. This line passes through the points 0, 1, right? So just substitute it in. Just substitute it in. Okay? X, substitute it for 0. Y, substitute it for 1. Okay? And just plug in those numbers. And then you get 1 equals 1/2 times 0, which is obviously 0. So you get 1 equals b. So very simple, right? And then you can build your formula. Y equals 1/2 x plus 1. Okay. So let's move on. This one is a word problem. Okay. This one is a word problem, and then you are supposed to write a slope-intercept form that expresses this word problem. So Becky is competing in an 8-mile road race. Okay, 8 mile. Pay attention to that. He runs at the constant speed of 6 miles. Okay, pay attention to 6 miles per hour. Okay, and write an equation in slope-intercept form that represents the distance that Becky has left to run. So the distance remaining. Please write a slope-intercept form equation that represents this problem. So this might be a bit confusing at first because you might not have done any word problems regarding a slope-intercept form yet. So let me give you a hint. Let y represent the distance remaining. Okay? So y is the distance remaining. And x will be the number of hours equals the hours ran, okay? The hours that Becky ran, okay? So then you can try to build a slope-intercept form equation using these, okay? These hints that I gave you, please try to make sense of them and give me a answer. So anyone, Carney, Jocelyn, does anybody have a answer? Okay, I'll give you some time. Okay, so as usual, when you're done, please post it in the chat box. Okay. Okay. Y equals 6x plus 8. Very good, Jocelyn. But it's so close, but it's not correct. I'll show you how it's done. You missed one mark, and that is the negative sign. The actual answer is y equals negative 6x plus 8. So you're very close. Well, then how do we get this? How do we get y equals negative 6x minus 8? So this is our formula, right? And let's try to make sense of this. So y is the distance remaining, okay? So distance remaining equals mx plus b. In this problem, it would be the 8 miles. 8 miles is the total number of miles, right? 8 miles is the total number of miles. So let's subtract something from the total miles, right? The distance remaining, that's something subtracted from the total miles, okay? And then remember the hours, the x is the hours that Becky ran, okay? So basically be 8 minus mx, right? Now what is m? X can represent the hours ran. It could be 1.5, it could be 3. But it's meaningless if we don't know how many miles can be ran in 1 hour. And this problem tells you 6 miles per hour. Okay, so we just write 6 here, and we're done. Y equals 8 minus 6x. But remember, be sure to rearrange it. Y equals negative 6x plus 8. Okay, so that is how you get the answer. So very close, Jocelyn. Very good effort. Okay, good job. Okay. So let's move on to point slope form. Okay, point slope form is where you graph a linear equation from a point on the line and the slope. So you only need the point and the slope. Okay, and many people say that point slope form is a bit easier to graph than the slope-intercept form. Why? Because point slope form requires less information. For a slope-intercept form, you need the y-intercept, right, and the slope. Okay, the slope usually is very easy to get, right? But the y-intercept, you may need a bit more time to figure the y-intercept. So using the point slope form, you just need one point and the slope. So it is a little bit faster than the slope-intercept form, but you should learn both of them, plus the standard form, which I'm going to talk about later. Okay, so the point slope form is m equals y minus y1, x minus x1. Okay, now what does y and what does x mean? Okay, and what does y1 and what does x1 mean? Y and x are referring to a general point on the line. General point, okay? It's just a general point. It's not specified. A general point on the line. Okay, in x1, in y1, and y1, these are the specified point, okay? This is a specified point that you meet, okay? So that is the specified point. Then m, as usual, is the slope, okay? So let's simplify this. We have a fraction right here, right? You have a fraction, and you usually don't want fractions in algebra. So when we simplify this, you'll get y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. So remember, you can just plug in the point, plug in the slope, plug in the point into this formula, and then you can solve it. Now, why do we need to solve this point slope form? Okay, so I'll tell you. Next slide. Why do we need to actually solve this point slope form, right? We don't need to solve slope-intercept form. We can just graph it, right? And the whole point is to graph it, right? Most of the time, you're supposed to graph it. You have this point slope form. But why do you need to solve it? Well, point slope form actually can't be graphed in its own way. Okay, like slope-intercept form, you can just graph it, find the y-intercept, and then just with the slope, you can graph a line. But point slope form and even standard form usually can't be graphed that easily by themselves. Okay, so the whole point of solving a point slope form equation is to find the slope-intercept form. You can convert the forms, and then you can use the slope-intercept form to graph. But aside from converting it, the whole thing to slope-intercept form, there is another easy way in how we can graph point slope form. So there are two main ways you can graph point slope form. So I'll show you both ways that I know. Okay. The first way is to convert. The first way is just to convert. Okay. So let's say you have a slope of 3. And then equals y minus 2 over x minus 3. So this would be y1, this would be x1, okay? And let's write the same thing on this other side because we'll use both methods to graph. The first way is to just convert. So remember, most of you know how to turn this into an equation without fractions. Just multiply x minus 3 on both sides. Okay? And then you get 3 times the quantity of x minus 3 equals y minus 2. Okay, so we then simplify 3x minus 9 equals y minus 2. And then this is starting to look a bit familiar, right? So it'll just equal y equals 3x minus 7, right? We add 2 on both sides, and technically moving it to the other side, but changing its sign in the progress. So then we get this. This is slope-intercept form, right? And then we can graph it. So let me erase all this. Okay. So our equation is y equals 3x minus 7. Let's graph it now. Okay, y-intercept, -7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is our y-intercept. Okay, and then remember, to graph the slope-intercept form, this is our slope, right? And then from the y-intercept, we can get another point. So this is our slope, 3, 1. Remember, let's go up 3 because vertical change first, y first. 1, 2, 3, go to the right by 1. 1, okay. There we go. And then we can also do -3 divided by -1. So let's go down by 3. 1, 2, 3. Go to the left by 1. 1, a point right here. My points, of course, this 3 that was. Okay, my points aren't too accurate. So I'll draw it again. 1, 2, 3. Well, 3 is supposed to be here. So this we almost have like kind of straight line. Okay, my drawing isn't too good, but with a ruler you can see that it's a straight line, okay? A straight line. So now let's use the other method to try and graph this point slope form, okay? This one you don't even have to solve this equation. Take this, okay? And then we have to take the slope too. What is this? 2. This would be the y1. What is this? 3. This would be the x1, and then 3 is the slope, right? So technically, the point we were given was 3, 2. Okay, don't include this negative sign. Don't include the y, the negative 2. Don't include that because it already came with the negative sign. So if it were y plus 2, then it'd actually be negative 2. Okay, so we'll take the positive 2 and the positive 3. Okay, no subtract sign included. And then 2 is the y, so goes here. X is 3, goes first. This is the point that we're given at first. Remember, we need the point and the slope. So let's find that point. 1, 2, 3. X first, y second. 1, 2, okay. So our point. This is our point, and then the slope. We have another, this is our slope, 3, 1, okay. So from this slope, we can also get negative 3 over negative 1, okay. So from this point, we can go 1, 2, 3, and then by 1 over here, okay. And then negative 3, 1, 2, 3, go left by 1. Over here, these 3 points. And if you extend this line, it's exact same, right? Extend, extend. Exact same graph, right? So this proves that these 2 ways both work. Okay, so any questions? Okay. So, for the student that just asked me, is this an eighth grade algebra lesson? This is actually the 7th grade curriculum. So not 8th grade. So no negative sign needed. That might be a bit confusing. So why not a negative sign included? Okay, so let's recall. M equals y2 minus y1 over, wait, no, there's, it's just y1 minus y, x1 minus x. Now, the point we're given is x, y, right? It's already included. The subtraction sign is already included. So, we don't need to include that subtraction sign when we're reverting back into our point. Now, it'd be a different situation if this were a plus, plus, plus. Then, we have to assume that it would be y1 minus negative y, which means that y was originally negative. So that is why sometimes we don't include the negative sign, sometimes we do. So let's have some practice, okay? A line passes through the point 3, 4 and has a slope of 2 over 3. Express this line in slope-intercept form. Okay, remember, I taught you this is one method, right? One method is to convert to slope-intercept form. Okay, we convert to slope-intercept form, and then we can graph from slope-intercept form. Okay, so please convert or express the line in slope-intercept form. So I suggest you first, since you're given the point and the slope, you have to put it into point-slope form first, and then you have to convert it to slope-intercept form. Okay? So please do this and put the answer in the chat box. Okay, Jocelyn, very fast answer. Okay, good. Y equals 2/3 x plus 2. Okay. John, this is for people who just started 7th grade. Okay, this is about, in my past few lessons, I did review material that was about for people who just started 7th grade. But now we're getting deeper into the 7th grade curriculum. So this is about like in the middle. So not for beginners of 7th grade, in the middle, okay? And if you want some math that has the first beginner 7th grade curriculum, John, then you can watch my previous videos on algebraic equations, okay? Those are pretty beginner, okay? And Carney, you are still in 6th grade, so very good. You understand the 7th grade curriculum, so very good. So anyone have any questions or answers for me? So I know Jocelyn gave me an answer, and someone else gave me an answer, okay? So you're using your Chinese name, and I'm pretty bad at Chinese, so if you would please just use your regular name. Okay, it's okay to use your Chinese name. No offense here, but I really can't read it, so and does anybody have any more answers? If not, then I'll walk you through it, okay? I'll walk you through this one. A line passes through the point 3, 4, so that's our line. Our point, okay? And then it has a slope of 2, 3, okay? This is our slope, 2, 3 equals y1 minus 4. 4 is our y, right? And then x1 minus 3, okay? So that is our point slope form equation. Now let's simplify it. So it'd be 2/3 times the quantity of x minus 3 equals y minus 4. So we get 2/3 x minus 2. Okay, and then that equals y minus 4. So then we have to move the negative 4 to the other side. We get y equals 2/3 x plus 2, okay, plus 2. So that is our slope-intercept form, okay. So now let me go over standard form, okay. Standard form is very important as well. And these 3 forms all interconnect. So you'll be using all 3 of them in many problems, okay. So standard form is ax plus by. You'll see in this one, it doesn't really give you a slope, okay? It doesn't really give you a slope. So the slope will be negative a divided by b. It's not just handed over to you. You actually have to solve it, okay? So the slope, remember this, it's not a over b. It has to be negative a over b, okay? And why is standard form so important? Because standard form is using whole numbers, like slope-intercept. You get slopes like fractions, right? And 5, 6x, and then you can even get y-intercepts as fractions, like 13 over 3. Okay, so it's pretty hard, or pretty hard to work with those fractions. And then we can convert it to standard form. Mostly standard form is like whole numbers, like 3x plus 4x equals 24, something like that. Okay. And then we can find our slope using that. So how to graph standard form? There are two ways to graph standard form, just like point slope form. And just like point slope form, one of these ways involves converting to slope-intercept form, because hands down, slope-intercept form is the easiest form to directly graph with, okay? But there's another method for just standard form, and it involves x-intercept. So, can anybody give me a standard form problem? Okay. So anybody, can you give me a standard form problem? Okay, just give me a random standard form equation, okay? So, please give me a random standard form equation, just like 20x plus 21y or something like that. Okay, so Jesslyn says 3x minus 4y equals 12. Very good. Okay, and Carney says 23x plus 36y equals very big number that I'm not going to say. Probably mess it up, but we'll use Jocelyn. It's easier to work with, and it'll be easier to understand and explain. So 3x minus 4y equals 12. 3x minus 4y equals 12. Let's convert to slope-intercept form. We need to get y on one side and the slope and the y-intercept on the other side. Okay. Let's first by moving x to where 12 is. Remember, we need to get y by itself. So let's move 3x to the right hand side. Negative 4y equals negative 3x plus 12. And then this is our slope, right? No, but we're not done yet, because we need to get y by itself, not negative 4 to y. And how do you get that? Divide every term by negative 4. Divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4. Okay? And then we get y equals 3 over 4x minus 3. Okay. And it's as simple as that. Remember, this is a and this is b. So remember, negative a divided by b will be equal to the slope. So now let's graph this, okay? Erase all of this. And let's put our equation on top over here. Okay. So remember, slope-intercept form, very easy to graph. Okay. Just find the y-intercept first. So negative 3. 1, 2, 3. Right here. Okay. And then 3, 4. Also negative 3 over negative 4. So let's go up by 3. Vertical change first. 1, 2, 3 right here. And then go to the right by 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Right here. And then our next point, go down by 3. 1, 2, 3. Right here. Go to the left by 4. 1, 2, 4. Here. As you see, it forms a straight line, okay? Maybe mine isn't so straight, but if you use like a online graphing calculator, then it'll be straight, okay? This is our next method, and this involves finding the y-intercept and the x-intercept. So let me give an example. If you find the y-intercept, let's say it's somewhere over here. Okay, this is not regarding the equation that I just did, so it won't be the same line. And then so this is the y-intercept. And then this is the x-intercept. Okay. And then from these two intercepts, we can form a line, right? And then the trick is to just how to find these intercepts. And it's very easy when it's in standard form. So ax plus by equals c. Okay. So our standard form equation would be 3x minus 4y equals 12. Okay, that's the equation that Jocelyn gave us. And we need to find the y-intercept first. And what happens every single time when you try to find the y-intercept? The x is 0, right? It's always 0 and then some number. Okay, some number. 0 and then y. So it's very easy. Just plug in a 0 as x. So be 3, 0 minus 4y equals 12. Okay, just like that, you get negative 4y equals 12. So y would equal to negative 3. So the y-intercept is negative 3. Okay, so let's erase that. The y-intercept is negative 3. Put that right here. What about the x-intercept? The x-intercepts, remember, y is always 0. So we just plug in a 0 for the y. So it'd be 3x equals 12, x equals 4, right? Our x-intercept equals 4. We graph 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. And graph. And as you can notice, actually, coincidentally, these are actually the same 2 points on the first method, the graph of the first method, okay? So it's pretty interesting how you can graph these forms, okay? So let's try to do some practice problems, okay? So practice problems. So number 1 is what are the x-intercepts and the y-intercepts of 3x plus 4y equals 24? Okay, my grammar is so bad that I forgot to put a question mark and I used an extra H. Okay, repeat. What are the x-intercepts and the y-intercepts of 3x plus 4y equals 24? Okay, so please find the x-intercepts and y-intercepts of 3x plus 4y and be sure to graph the line, okay? You can't graph it on the chat box, but I trust you. Please graph it on your own paper, okay? Graph the line, and I'll graph the line on here too. Okay? So make sure you graph the line and find both the intercepts, the y-intercept and the x-intercept of this standard form equation. So you don't really have to answer how you graph the line in the chat box, but please do put the x and y intercepts. So I'll wait for your answer in the chat box. Okay. So okay, so Jocelyn says the x-intercept equals 8 and y equals 6. Okay, Carney says graphing calculator desmos.com. Yes, desmos.com is a pretty good graphing calculator. So if you guys have any trouble with using these forms, desmos.com is the way to go. You can graph all sorts of equations there. Okay, and any more answers for me? Okay, I'll go back to the slide. So any more answers? Okay, any more answers? Okay. If not, then I'll walk you through it. Remember, the x-intercept is just plug in a 0 for the y, right? So we don't need to worry about the y when we're talking about the x-intercept. So you just do 3x equals 24. And x equals 8. Okay? So for the y, we don't need to worry about the x. For y equals 24, y equals 6. Okay, y equals 6. And then, remember, don't forget to graph the line. So let me erase a bit of that. Then, let's graph this line. Y-intercept is 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. X is 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right here. Get this line. Okay, get this line. Now, here's a way to check our answer. Remember, negative a divided by b is the slope. So, remember, let's take the negative of a. A is 3. So, negative 3 divided by b. What is b? B is 4, right? We get a negative slope. And this is a negative slope line, which means we are correct in graphing this. And the line is obviously not perfect, like all of my lines that I drew. So, but this is the correct graph. If you go to desmos.com and you actually graph it, this will be pretty similar, except the line will be straighter. Okay. Last problem. A line has a slope of 4/5 and y-intercept of 4. Please express this line in standard form, okay? We have a slope, we have a y-intercept. Now what is this? This is slope-intercept form, right? This is slope-intercept form. Why is this pen malfunctioning like so bad? Okay, there we go. We have a slope and a y-intercept. Okay, and then we can get our slope-intercept form. And then we can convert to standard form. So please try this problem. And put your answers in the chat box. Okay, I'll wait for your answer. Okay. Okay, so who has the first answer? Okay. So, please put your answer in the chat box. Give you a few more moments to try and solve this one. Remember where we turned the standard form into slope-intercept form? This is just the exact opposite of that. Okay. Okay. Are there any answers yet? Okay. Any answers yet? Okay. Carney says y equals 4 divided by 5x plus 4. Okay, very good. Okay, so I'll walk you through this. Okay. We have our slope, right? 4 divided by 5x plus 4. But none of you actually converted it to standard form. Okay. Maybe you don't know how to. So now I'll show you how to convert it to standard form. Remember, standard form is in this way. Okay. Ax plus by equals c. Okay, so let's start by getting rid of the fraction, the slope, okay? So remember, multiply every term by 5. 5y equals 4x plus 20, because we have to multiply 4 by 5, 2, okay? And then move the 4x to the other side. Negative 4x plus 5y equals 20. So that is how you convert slope-intercept form to standard form. Okay? So does everybody understand how to convert it? Okay, so Carney, it is not 4x plus 5y. Remember, you have to change the sign when moving the 4x to the other side. Okay, so Andy, you don't understand. So which part do you understand? I'll explain it again to you. So which part do you not understand? Put in the chat. Okay. So which part you not understand? Okay. So Andy, okay. So like how the y was, the 5 was with the y. Okay. So why the 5 was with the y coordinate? Okay. So this is actually a really simple algebraic concept. Remember when you try to get rid of this fraction, you have to multiply by 5 because it's 4 divided by 5. If you multiply that by 5, then you cancel out, right? Cancel out to 4. But in the process, you have to multiply every term by 5. You have to multiply y by 5. You have to multiply 4/5 x by 5, and then you get 4x. And then you have to multiply 4 by 5. You get 20, right? So that is why you need to, the 5 goes with y, okay? So thank you for listening, everybody. Be sure to subscribe to my channel and like this video, okay? So I'll stop recording now. Oh, there we go.